These are my favorite free tracks of 2023. I'm not saying these are the best tracks. I'm just saying these are the tracks I had the most fun on throughout the year, and I think you will have a ton of fun if you don't have them already. If I missed your favorite track, please let me know down in the comments. I would be very curious to know what that is. Anyway, let's jump right into it. We're gonna start things off with Countryside by King MX818. And if you know anything about this track creator, you know that this man likes to make tracks that are one thing and one thing only, and that is flowy. And this track is no different. Boys, I love this track. It is it's very easy. It's very, you know, I guess beginner friendly, but also has a little bit of a challenge there when you're trying to go really, really fast. Because it is so, I guess, simple and flowy, you have to be near perfect to put down crazy lap times. And it's really, really fun. I actually really enjoy hot lapping this track, and just, it seems to be great in online lobbies as well. I've been seeing it, and yeah, just fun, flowy, and just a large W. So Countryside by King MX818. You're gonna want to download this one. Next up, we have a track that I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really gel with when I first started playing it, but the more I've played it, the more I've come to like the scaling and just enjoy this track. And that is round 0 of Aiden's series. This is Baltimore. And boys, if you're looking for a good free Supercross track to get warmed up that feels somewhat similar to the Aerial series, but is a little bit more, I think, beginner friendly because the jumps are a little bit spaced apart. It's a little bit faster, kind of overscaled. This is the one for you. It's very, very enjoyable, and there's some huge lines on here. And yeah, like I said, I didn't really gel with it at first, but the more I ride it, the more I enjoy it. Next up, we have one of the most legendary tracks on this list, and that is 2023 Dreamland by T-Bell. And if you've been playing MX bikes for any sort of time, basically at all within 2023, I'm sure you've played this track or you've seen it on the server list. It's an absolutely legendary track created by a legendary track creator. And what do you expect? You know, it's a W. It looks pretty good, and it rides really good, and it's just a legendary track. We've all seen the videos on Dreamland, one of the craziest facilities in the world, and it's in MX bikes. And yeah, what a W it is. And definitely check this one out. T-Bell always makes bangers, and this one's no exception. While this track may not be as popular as Dreamland to the masses, this track is just as legendary to me. This is E Street by Kells, and E Street is a track that I grew up riding IRL, and is a track that I absolutely love in real life. I could spin laps on this track all day long, and to see it finally come to MX bikes in all of Kells's glory, man, you know this one was going to be on my list. I have such good memories here in real life, and man, some of the best racing I've ever had was at this track, and also some of the times I got absolutely spanked the hardest was on this track. But nonetheless, this track is amazing in the game as well. It has some really, really cool, fun, flowy lines. As you can see that I'm not hitting them because I'm a bot, but this track's amazing. You definitely check this one out, especially if you like sand tracks. It do be nice and flowy. I guess we're just gonna do back-to-back Kells tracks. This is Fox Raceway by Kells, and man, this track is super, super popular. One of the best recreations of the very mid Fox Raceway, and that's just a little hee hee ha ha joke. Don't worry, don't get offended. I don't know. Fox Raceway is just an interesting layout IRL, but Kells absolutely killed it, and this track is super, super rough, but at the same time, like, easy and not. I don't know. He just really did something special on this track, and I think that if you guys are intermediate and you're looking for like that next challenge after setting your 105 on Forest, this is the track for you. Moving on to a track creator's first track, and that is Poor Boys by Mouse. How did I not crash right there? I don't know. But this track, this is, like I said, this is Mouse's first track, and man, I think he absolutely killed this one. The ruts are amazing. The roughness, the little bumpsticles are kind of perfect for bikes where they still kind of get you unsettled and chopped up a little bit, but not so big where you're just chopped the whole time. Man, Doc's really just not good at the game. I'm just kind of all over the place. Anyway, this track's amazing. It's got some big lines. It's got some flowy lines. It's got good ruts. It's fast. It's just fun. I don't know. Highly suggest Mouse. And I almost said Mouse Motopark, but that's a little gateway into the future there. But this is Poor Boys, very, very solid track. Pick it up. I guess since we're on the topic of people making first tracks that are absolutely bangers, let's just throw in Shmeezville there, because this is Tej DZ's first track, and boys, it is a banger. That's really it. This is Shmeezville, and I thought that this track was made by Mr. Trojan because he is the Shmeez master, but it actually wasn't. And I don't know, this track is amazing. It's very fast. It's like an instant MXB classic, you know? It's like when you first ride Walnut and you're just like, wow, this is the one. Now you get on Shmeezville, and I feel like it feels very similar, where this track just barks, highly suggests big whips, big speed, extra Shmee. I don't know, my bad. Okay, moving on. If we're talking about fast tracks, you cannot leave Wolf Creek by D-Alves out of that conversation. This track is basically right trigger simulator. I know I say that a lot, but it really is. I mean, look at that. It was wicked through the whole corner on a big old daddy 450. And it's very, very fun though. It's very flowy, very, very fast, and it is very scrubby. And this track has a lot of good lines. It's really fun for racing because I feel like the skill gap between the skill gaps is small, if that makes sense. Now, there's mid players, bad players, and then good players. And what I mean is the mid players are all similar speed, the bad players are all similar speed, and then the good players will all be similar speed on this track. I don't know if that makes sense. Actually, it kind of doesn't make sense to me, but anyway, this track is very, very fun. Wolf Creek, it can be a little dark, but if you get a little bit of reshade, it'll look a little bit brighter and more vibrant. And personally, big reshade fan. Maybe I should do a video on reshade. Anyway, Wolf Creek, D-Alves, big W. For the first Supercross track on this list, I'm putting a track that came out extremely late in the year. And you might be wondering, Doc, how could a track come out so late in the year and it still be on the Tracks of the Year video? Well, that's because JV made it. And JV might be one of the most talented and gifted track creators that we've ever seen in MX bikes. And this was a side project. Buddy just whipped it up, okay? Buddy just whipped up a little side casserole dish for us for Christmas. And this is what I mean, look at the snow. Okay, the snow, like, this looks like it was freshly plowed by a little bobcat. I don't know. This track is just so impressive, and I don't know. JV just, man, just gets it going. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is The North by JV. Highly suggest. It's very unique, very fun, and it's in the snow, and there's a wolf in the background. So, you know, wolves. Now, this one might be a little controversial. This is Swedish Summer 2 by Mr. Hell Machine. And I say controversial, not because this track is bad or not good in any means, but because it is in the shadow of its older brother, Swedish Summer Carnage 1. But personally, I think I like number 2 better, specifically just because of the bright environment. And I kind of like, it's a little bit more, I feel it's tighter and more technical than the first one, even though it's basically the same layout, just backwards. I don't know, it just feels a little bit more vibey to me. There's something about it, but really that bright, you know, bright environment, I really appreciate that. Plus that quad I just did is very, very fun. Anyway, Swedish Summer Carnage 2, big W. Let's do another Supercross track. This is Russ from Stone Rider, and there's just something about this environment that I just really, really like. I love a good replica. I love the, you know, the IRL series, the IRL Nationals and Supercross races. But there's just something about a creative track creator being creative in the environment and then using that to make a unique track that really, I think, is just special. And this track is perfect for that. Just a crazy, like, weird industrial, you know, environment, and then this cool Supercross track in the middle of it. It's just awesome. Highly suggest, and don't go anywhere. I think this one's actually pretty easy if you're looking to get, you know, into Supercross, especially looking to try and get into the aerial races. This is a good, like, entry-level Soupy track. We have another King MX track here, and this is Scrub Dirty, which is kind of like a sequel to Scrub and Dirt. It feels similar, but man, remember how I said that first Countryside track was flowy? Well, this track is extremely flowy, just as flowy, if not more flowy. And I don't know, Doc likes tracks that he can hot lap. I kind of think I'm turning into a hot lap warrior. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoy just trying to outperform myself more than I enjoy racing, to be honest. I do enjoy racing, but I really like just pushing my own limits. And it seems that King MX's tracks are typically the tracks that are the flowiest and most fun for me to hot lap. I mean, maybe not the most fun, but they definitely are extremely fun for me to hot lap. And so I do enjoy this track a lot. And I think that you will too. I kind of want to see what the world record is, because Ducky Wucky might have to give it a go. You know what I mean? Next up, we have the Farm by T-Bell. And boys, when this track dropped, it was going crazy. Everyone's social media was popping off. This track had crazy amount of downloads. It was like every server. And this was just a W track. It's very difficult, I think, in some ways, and it's difficult for me, and I think it'll be difficult for a lot of other people, but it's like difficult in an easy way, if that makes sense. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like not difficult where you're gonna want to break your monitor, but difficult in the sense that it's gonna definitely push you to be better at the game. And seeing people rip this track, it'll definitely make you want to be perfect and try to hit everything. Absolutely, just grease it all, baby, to try and get a good lap. Because when you string a lap together, it is extremely enjoyable. I think I suggest a 250 on this track, though. It seems like the 250s work a lot better than the 450s, but maybe that's a skill issue on my end. Anyway, very W track. Next up, we have Fort Red by Red Rider, which is a legendary recreation of the MX vs ATV reflex track. And this recreation is very, very impressive. It's basically, it looks identical to reflex, but just MX bikesy, and it just works so well. There's some huge, crazy lines on it, but it's also pretty entry level, and it's, of course, it's free because it's on this list. And I feel like the environment is just super, super good. There's a few little Easter eggs, you know, trickled around throughout the map. It's just a very, very cool track, and I highly suggest picking it up. It's very flowy and very fun. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I wasn't going to put these tracks in any particular order, but I kind of lied on that. None of the other tracks were in any order, but I will say this is my favorite track of the year, hands down. This is Mouse Motopark, and there is just something about this track that it's just so special. It's very difficult, but at the same time, once you figure it out, it's probably the flowiest track of the year. And the ruts are just huge, and they hold you so well. The bumps are challenging, and you kind of feel like Jet Lawrence. You gotta like kind of hip and hop through them to go fast. But it is super, super fast. Once you figure out how to go fast on it, you basically don't have to let off. But in that learning process, it can be one of the most challenging tracks that you've ever played. This track is just special to me. I love it. I will continue to grind this track for a very, very long time. Mouse Motopark is a piece of art, in my opinion. It's incredible. Highly, highly suggest. And with that, boys, that's gonna be my favorite tracks of 2023. Let me know down in the comments what tracks I missed and what your favorite tracks were. I had to leave so many amazing tracks out of this because I was trying to keep it into like a 15 track segment. I think I cut probably 40 tracks. There's so many amazing track creators and so many amazing tracks. I just tried to do my best to show my personal favorites. I love you, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.